What's up, everybody? It's your girl TK, and welcome back to my channel. If you can't tell, I am super sick, so apologies for my voice. A few days ago, I Zoom called my dad and recorded it. I asked him for some advice just around what it takes to be successful because he has achieved huge amounts of success over his career, and I really just wanted to kind of absorb and grab as much as I could, but I also wanted to share that with you guys today. You guys might find some helpful things out of what my dad said. Secondly, I want to apologize for the poor quality on the Zoom call on my behalf. My dad, he looks stunning and glowing, and I look shady as, but that's just because I just wasn't in a position to get the best lighting and blah 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 blah. So apologies for that, but I really hope that you guys enjoy.
A few weeks ago, you and I had a conversation on the phone where I asked you something along the lines of like, how did you do it? How did you manage to be like Mike King or whatever? I didn't exactly ask that question, but that was the question that I was asking. You said, I just had an insane belief in myself that I could do it. And ever since you said that to me, I was like, I have to have well, first of all, I asked myself, do I have an insane belief in what I'm doing? And I was like, yeah, it's insane, but I believe that I can do it, you know? And then
Yeah.
more than, I've also been like really looking at sort of my habits of self-sabotage and where do those come from? Does it, so for me, I have recognized that there are a few behavioral traits that I continue to do that keep me in the same spot, that keep me from going to this next level. It was my inner voice, that inner critic. And definitely it came from being a child and feeling like I was never quite measuring up. Like I got made a prefect, but I wasn't head girl. You know, I was did really well in English, failed maths. So it was just this constant idea that like if I'd just been a little bit better, I would have been great. Do you know what I mean? But now I realize I guess maybe it's because I've got my own child now, and I realize that like I have to be able to speak to myself nicely if I'm going to speak to her nicely.
Yeah.
And if I can't do that, then whatever is going on up here, if that's stress, because I'll be stressed out, right? I'll be trying to do too many things at one time. And then the way that I speak to Harper is just stressful. I'm trying to tell her, I'm stressed out. I need you to like help me out here. And she's two, which is just.
Yeah, I know. Well, see, that's really interesting. Your statement at the beginning, you said, when you asked me, and I said I had an insane self-belief, and that was true. But what the part that I didn't say was the reason I had that belief. And the reason I had that belief was because I had 20 years of perfecting my craft. And by perfecting my craft, that wasn't in front of a room full of people. That was on the marae, that was at weddings, that was in one-on-one conversation. So I knew I had this insane talent. Like, I said earlier on, I was always looking to be a world champion or something. The first time I stood up on stage in front of a group of people at Kitty O'Brien's in July 1994, June, July 1994, was and made that first 100 people audience just crack the fuck up. That was the day I went, damn, I could be the best in the world at this. This was the thing that I was looking for, that moment where you go, yeah, baby. But even getting to that stage there, you've got that other. So I was 33 maybe. So there was another whole, from the age of 8 to 33. The how many years is that? Shit, I was never any good at maths. 33 minus 8 is 20. So 25 years of failures, of bombs. Some family functions I would kill, others where I would be an embarrassment, and it was just learning from all of those mistakes. So, Well, when I turned up on the scene in New Zealand in 1995 and got my first TV show, everyone goes, "Wow, overnight sensation."
What was that? Was
Well,
that TV bloopers? Was it that one?
pulp comedy.
Pulp comedy. Oh yeah. Okay.
Pulp comedy, yeah. So that was 25 years to be an overnight sensation. That was 25 years of gigging and dying and gigging and getting laughs. But I, from 8 years old, I knew that this was something that I was good at. I was able to make people laugh. So when you asked me, what was the moment, that insane belief was because I had 25 years of success and failure. Many a night I humiliated myself, or I'd come home and cry myself to sleep and beat myself up and never want to tell another joke again, but get back up and, go forward.
How much does fear drive you? So
Like, me, I'm a perfectionist. If it's not perfect, it's useless, so I always live in fear of failing. That's my whole life. But I will always be scared of failing or scared of doing something wrong, but that doesn't prevent me from doing it. For most people, fear of not just failure, fear of what other people will think, fear of what other people will say, fear of what other people will do will prevent you from taking the next step. If you were truly concerned by what other, and it is a concern. You can tell me you're not worried, but it's a truly concern of what other people are going to think about, about this channel that you've created, this talk thing, and I know for a fact, because you're not human if you don't, that when you lay awake at night and you think, shit, is this the right thing to do? What are people going to think? When I started out my comedy career, there were people who go, fuck, you want to be a comedian, Barry? You're a clown, don't you want to do that? And for me, what I did when they did that, I didn't get angry, and then I didn't think about getting even. I just thought, okay, that's going to drive me. That's going to drive me. But you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful, because if what's driving you is to shove it in their face, there's a line.
Yeah. Then it's no longer about you; it's about them.
It can come back and hurt you. That's when most of us fail. When we make it about them, because now we're fearing what. So I remember an example of this was the first time I came out and admitted that I had a mental health problem. My whole life, that I had depression. My whole life I was scared that people were going to find out, and then they were going to call me out on and go, hey, you soft cock or whatever. And when I said it on the radio, and that had held me back my whole life. It had held me back 45 years. But the first time I opened up, the first fellow that rings up on the radio station where I made the declaration was a while ago. And I was talking about the conversations that I have with myself. So I turn up at the radio station. I've just given up drugs and alcohol. I hadn't been out of the house in 6 months. Willie Jackson, your mother told Willie Jackson that, I wasn't getting out of the house. He rang me up and goes, bro, you're not getting out of the house. You need to get back to work. I fucking don't need to listen to you, mate. What the fuck are you talking about? He said, I got you a job at the radio station. So I went to the radio station. I said, yeah, I'll do it. I'm in the radio station. I'm going, hey, putting on my phony freaking, hey, it's Mike King here, talk back, plane crash today. If you got anything to say about plane crashes, give us a call, 0800 475 276, whatever the hell the number was, and all of this. And then I go, hey, there's heaps of people waiting for the calls, waiting to talk. I'll get to them right after the break. There was no one there. There was no one there. And so I'd come back and go, there's heaps of people who want to talk about that, but I noticed that the mortgage rates have gone up. This is affecting how you're living today. Give us a call. I'll get to those calls right after the break, and no calls. So I do this for 20 minutes, no calls. And I'm sitting there, and my inner critic is sitting there going, "You're a fucking loser. No one wants to talk to you." And I had this whole conversation going off in my head. And I said, "Hey, I'll come back after the break." And my producer said, "There are no more breaks." And I was like, "Oh, shit. I've got 40 minutes of air to fill and no calls." So the conversation in my head was, just tell the truth. Start swearing. If you start swearing, people ring up and complain. At least I'm going to tell the truth. So I closed my eyes, and I'll never forget, I said into the microphone, "Hey, everybody, for the last 20 minutes, I've been telling you there's heaps of callers on the line. There are no callers on the line. And if you don't call in the next 10 seconds, I'm going to start talking to the voices in my head."
Oh,
And
this is making me sad, Dad.
I closed my eyes, and I went, "Yeah, the reason no one's calling, bro, is because everyone hates you." "Oh, they don't hate you. They're just, they're having dinner. It's 10:30 at night. No one eats dinner at 10:30 at night. You're a loser. Why do you always talk to Michael like that? Why do you always call him Michael? His name Mike. What the hell are you doing?" And I got my eyes closed, and my producer goes, "Hey, bro, you better take the calls." Now, I opened my eyes, and I looked down at the board, and there was a board full of callers. First fellow I ever spoke to, I said, "Hey, it's Mike here." First fellow I ever spoke to was a Māori fellow called Rangi. I know he's a Māori fellow because his name was Rangi. I said, "Hey, bro, welcome to the show." He goes, Bo, I have those voices too." and so he was me expecting. So this is the thing I feared my whole life, that people were going to judge me. And the first person that called was another Māori fella, who said he had the same thing as me. Well, it was like we had an awesome conversation. All seven of us, his voices, my voices, we had this awesome cordial. And every phone call after that, babe, every single phone call after that was other people sharing their stories. The next 3 hours of that show went like that, just went.
It's always better to be honest. Well, obviously.
The point of this is, it could have gone the other way. The first caller could have been an ass, but the fact is, you've got to put it out there. You can't let fear hold you back. So anyway, I had a full board of calls that night. The next night I came into the studio.
Is this how the Nutters Club started, Dad?
The next day I came to the studio, and I'm talking about all the talkback shit that everyone else was talking. I said, we can talk about all these headlines, or we can talk about what we talked about last night. Bam, full board of calls. For the next 5 nights, by Friday night, we were the Nutters Club. Hey, welcome to the Nutters Club. Come in and talk about, and what I learned from that experience is if you show vulnerability first, if you show, you take off your mask first, there are plenty of other people out there willing to take their mask off. Now, you know what I mean? So it's that, give them something that they can hurt you with. And that's what, vulnerability is all about. It's about sharing your vulnerability so other people know that you're someone safe that they can share their vulnerability with too.
Cool. Well, this was not the conversation I was expecting to have, but I got a lot more from it.
Cool, baby.
Thank you so much, Dad.
Love you, bub.
For really taking the time out to just do this. I know that you're really busy, and I really, really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Love you heaps, Dad.
Love you heaps too, man. Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and leave a comment. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at IamTK. Thank you so much for your time. Love ya.